Hello everyone, welcome to day 4 of the language challenge in which I need to do 6 hours of Japanese every day. It's not easy. I'm a little bit late. It's 1 p.m. now. I've only done 1 hour of study, so that means that I will probably finish late today. Hey. Anyway, I'm glad you're still watching this series of videos, so if you've been watching since the beginning. If this is the first video you watch of the daily vlogs that I'm doing this week, then welcome. So, today I'm feeling okay. I slept much better than yesterday, because yesterday was a little bit hard, although I feel like I did well, you know, considering, so I was quite proud of myself. What's interesting about what happened yesterday in terms of my sleep is that I didn't let my brain trick me into thinking I'm tired, therefore I can't do any learning, or I'm just gonna, you know, be lazy, stay in bed all day or whatever. But instead you can actually sort of, you know, challenge this belief that if you're tired you can't do anything and actually do some language learning. Granted, I'm not talking about extreme tiredness. If you've been having insomnia like 10 days in a row, obviously you're not going to be productive, you know, our bodies have limits, but I'm talking about some sort of mild lack of sleep when it's, you know, sometimes you have these days where you're just not feeling you're not in your best shape, and in these days it's still possible to be productive. You might have to adapt, that's true, but I adapted and I managed, so that's quite exciting. So the program for today is, well, it was supposed to start at 1 p.m, but it's already 1:15, but I'll just, you know, delay everything by a little bit. So first I want to do my Anki reviews because I need to, you know, keep on, there's still new cards that I haven't worked on in my decks, so I want to sort of, you know, progress in that area. And then I need to enter vocab in my Anki deck, which is dedicated to just new, I call it useful vocab. It's kind of like a mixture of every sort of sentences or words that I find useful. I do try to have sentences instead of words because it's kind of more useful to see words in context, not just in context, but in a sentence, and sort of see how they are how they're used within the grammar of the language, if that makes sense. So that, and I kept delaying it, but I'm going to do it today. Then I want to learn how to use should in Japanese, because I notice when I speak to my friends in Japanese that I don't know how to say should. I know there's some like phrase with e which can be used, like it would be good, essentially. But there's, I ran into a video from Misa, which I always watch this week, and she has a video about how to express should with, I think, basu ending or hazu ending, I can't remember. I'll find out soon. Then I want to do a bit of reading. So I did some reading yesterday, but that was for the homework. But I do have graded readers, which I've mentioned before. I will show them to you now. It's, my books almost fell. This is the series that I'm reading. So I bought them a year ago, and I only went through part of the first one. I've got 2 like this, and I want to try to do a bit of reading. So maybe 45 minutes sounds like a good idea. Then I want to get started on Japanese from Zero, Book 3, Chapter 1. So as if you know this channel, you know I've reviewed the first 2 books already. I really enjoyed this series, and I would like in the long run to complete all the books, but they're not really my priority because I've got online lessons, so I don't have time to you know, work on these textbooks. But eventually I hope I'll get there, but also because I've done a lot of progress since I finished book 2. I reckon some of the content will be maybe too easy for me, but that could be a nice way to revise. If it's too easy, I'll just skip, you know, it's not a big deal. And then I would like to do that for an hour and a half, yeah. And then at 6 p.m, depending on how much time I have left to, you know, to have like the 6 hours of study, then I'll do a bit of immersion, maybe watching a show. This morning I already did an hour. I don't think I mentioned that already. I watched Ju-on. And it's a horror film based on the films, not based on because it's Japanese originally, but in English it's known as The Grudge. Yeah, so I watched that and I didn't enjoy it so much. Also, if you are considering watching it, be careful, it's really not for under 18. Some topics are quite intense. It can be quite upsetting. I like horror and stuff, but I might watch something else. And I'm really getting annoyed by this light. Anyway, so that's it. I will get started because otherwise I'm going to finish everything at 8 p.m. and I don't want to do that. And I'll catch up with you later. See you in a bit. Hello again. So it's the end of the day. It's 6 p.m. I did not finish doing the 6 hours. I still have 1 hour to go, but I'm going to do that after the video. I think I've said that before, but I try to finish recording everything at 6 p.m. and if there's any left over, then I can do it after, because I can still enjoy a bit of natural lighting, and I don't want to be editing until 10 p.m. because that's way too late. So I prefer to do the editing before like 8, and then it's a bit easier to just do studying because anyway, I don't actually like editing. I never said that on this channel, but actually, well, I wouldn't say I hate it, but it's not something I really enjoy. So anyway, that's not what we're here to talk about. So in terms of what I did, so I had a plan, which I explained in the beginning of this video, but I changed my plan a little bit because, well, essentially, okay, so what I did is I did my Anki reviews. So that's good. I entered vocab in my Anki deck, so that's good. I still have quite a bit of vocab to do, but I caught up on like 2 or 3 weeks worth of vocab list that I had from my italki lessons. So that's good. I still have like 2 months to go, but hey, I can't do everything. And then I intended to practice the should with has. But actually this should is a bit of a different should than I thought it was. Basically it's more should, but in terms of expectations. Anyway, so I just realized that I didn't feel like learning that just yet. Not saying it's useless, but I just felt like there's other things that I could focus on. So what I did instead is I watched a video from Misa again. I'm really enjoying your channel. I do like Miku as well, but when I was looking for grammar points, Miku's videos weren't coming up. I think she doesn't have as many videos as Misa. But anyway, so what I did is I revised the tari, so when you sort of linking verbs together to say I ate and I watched a film and etc. Which I knew already, but I kind of forgot about it. But actually, when I reviewed it, I was like, after a minute, I was like, oh yeah, actually, it's pretty easy. And then I learned chadame, so to say you can't, you're not allowed to, because I actually wanted to know how to phrase that, and I didn't know how to. So that was useful to know. It's actually quite easy to form. So that's good. It's quite interesting in Japanese. I understand why Japanese teachers insist so much on the te form, because with the te form, it helps with so much grammar. But without the te form, I don't think you can cope with any of the grammar pretty much, or at least conjugation. So I'm glad I know the te form. Sometimes I do have hesitations, but you know, I think I'm good enough with the te form that I just need to sometimes look up some words, verbs rather, and then just learn as I go and hope that exposure will help me just sort of knowing the te form immediately, if that makes sense. And there's another thing that I would like to learn, but that could be for tomorrow, is how to express I need to. Which would be useful. I know the word is hitsuyo, I think, but I don't know if it works like ski, like ga hitsuyo or something like that. So I need to have a look at it. If you know, let me know, but I will probably check it out tomorrow. And there's something else that I learned how to do today, or how to say a phrase, is to say I started to do something. So I think it's verb te form and then hajimeru. So that's quite useful. Like, what was the phrase? I think I said bangumi o mite hajimeru. Sorry, I'm not very fast at speaking Japanese, but here we go. So that was a useful phrase. I think that's correct. I will have to double check when I edit the video. Hopefully it is. So that's useful. And I learned that by doing a conversation with a friend. So I don't know if I mentioned that before. I think I mentioned that 2 days ago. I have a Japanese friend and he promised me that, and I made him promise, that we would only speak in Japanese. So we speak only in Japanese. And actually I asked him if overall he understood what I was saying in Japanese, and he said half. So I was like, I still need to do some progress, so we're not quite there yet. But you know, I feel like I can still express things, I understand, you know, I do use, I understand a lot of what he says, but I still need to Google things to sort of check the translation. which is normal when you're sort of working at early N4 level. Obviously, you're not going to know that much, but hey, it's still useful. Then what else did I do? So I did the Anki, entering the vocab in my Anki deck. Then I watched another TV show, so I decided to give up on Ju-on. I think it's too gory, and even it's not even that. It's not gory, but it's just like, I don't know. I didn't like it. I don't know if I like Japanese horror. It's a bit of a different style. I do prefer to watch drama or like sci-fi things or thrillers, but I don't like things that are sort of purely horror, if that makes sense. Even though I don't mind if it's a little bit of a horror, but if it's under 18, it's a bit, I don't know. I just don't like it. Anyway, it is what it is. And I watched, I forgot the title. It's the 1 Million Yen Women, I think, something like that, which is, it seems fun. I only watched one episode, so I can't really judge, but it looks fun, so I'm going to watch some more. So what I'm left to do is to do a bit of reading. So I said I would read a little bit, but I didn't yet, so I will do that after this, essentially. And then maybe watch another episode. That'd be nice. I think if I do half an hour, I'm tired. If I did half an hour of reading and then watching a half an hour episode, I'd be happy with that. That'd be quite good. I'm kind of proud that I've reached day 4 and I haven't given up yet, even though it's a bit more chaotic. I woke up a little bit later than usual. I tend to wake up at 8. I woke up at 9:30, so that kind of messed up my entire day. But hey, but I'm enjoying this challenge. It is difficult, and I can tell my motivation is kind of wearing off a little bit, but I'm not giving up. There's only 3 days left to go, so I've done half of the challenge. And then it'd be exciting for me because tomorrow I've got my Japanese lesson, and it'd be exciting for me, or for the teacher, maybe, I don't know, she won't notice, I don't think, because it's not like I did that for a month. You know, you need a long time, I think, to really see progress and change. But I want to see how I sort of cope, because I did more immersion, if my ear or my brain is a bit more in a Japanese mode, if that makes sense. That's something I'll feedback to you tomorrow after the lesson. And someone asked me a question, which might come up again, is do I watch my TV shows with subtitles? And yes, I do. So I use language learning with Netflix, and you can basically have subtitles in the 2 languages, so Japanese and English, or French or whatever. And I find it useful. Having said that, I mentioned in other videos in the past that I like subtitles because I'm quite good at listening as well as reading. A lot of people say that when they have subtitles, they don't pay attention to what's being said. But I managed to sort of do both. I'm not saying like I'm smart or anything, but it's just something that I've always managed to do, and that's something I noticed I could do when I was learning English, because I used to watch lots and lots of TV shows, and yeah, so that's what I do. But if you feel like you can't sort of focus away from reading and you're just reading the English, then obviously you might have to find another method maybe. But yeah. All right, that's it for today. So I will see you tomorrow for day 5. Bye.